Alrighty, so on this one, we have the Tum-Balalaika, I think. Balalaika. Tum-Balalaika. On the bottom there it says the balalaika is a three-stringed Russian folk instrument with a triangular body. It's similar to the guitar or the mandolin. Okay, so this one we have kind of a Jewish folk song here. We're going to be practicing our repeated notes. So on the top there, top left, it says repeated notes are quick, repeated notes that are often played using changing fingers. This helps to keep the hand relaxed. Okay, so we have a little bit of a kind of a technical exercise there. What we're going to do is use your 3-2-1, 3-2-1 pattern, and we're going to play those slow, moderate, and then go up to a faster tempo. So let's play, I guess just the F there is fine. We're going to play, use your 3-2-1, and then repeat 3-2-1, and then we'll just end with that F there. Then we're going to repeat. And you can repeat these as much as you want to. I would encourage you to play those, a lot to kind of just get really familiar with those and get that into the muscle memory. So again, kind of starting those slow, and then kind of slowly starting to increase the tempo until you can get it like pretty fast. When you start to get to more really advanced pieces, you're going to play a really super fast repeated notes. So this is a really great introduction to kind of practicing and getting that, being able to play those really fast and comfortably. In terms of the timing, we have a 3-4 time signature. So even though the fingers are changing, we also have that kind of keeping those notes in time. So when we're keeping these in time, what we're going to do is make sure we have 2 eighth notes per beat. So we're going to count these 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, getting it into that kind of nice waltz pattern, giving a little bit more of an emphasis on that downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we got those repeating notes. Looks like that's going to be on the second page. So let's practice the first page, getting that left hand down. If you notice, we have some slurs here, really making sure that we connect the first and second beat together. We want a nice bum, 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 bum. And then all we're doing right now is kind of just getting really familiar with that left hand, making sure that we can play it comfortably, kind of in the background, and playing it without any mess ups or wrong notes here. Making sure we remember that B flat on measure 11. That's going to be that B flat on the thumb. Ba-dum, bum, come back down, regular D minor position. Okay, and then on 13 we have an E. Remember that G and B flat. Ba-dum, bum. On 14, pinky is going to go down to that C sharp here. Then also too, remembering those staccatos. On measure 15, we have staccatos, bum, bum, and then legatos. Also, we have some dynamic marks. So we're going to start mezzo piano. If you notice on measure 9, we have an increasing crescendo there and then diminuendo. So when we're playing those, we want to make sure we get nice and loud and then come back diminuendo. And it's the same thing for that very last measure, measure 16. We want to make sure that we end soft. That should be the softest notes there on that measure. So let's make sure that last note is nice and soft. That's going to prepare us for measure 17. So we have a piano nice and soft. Getting louder. On the very last line here on that second page, this is going to be a little bit different. Most students will kind of mess up a little bit on that quarter rest right there. So kind of keeping that in mind that this last measure is going to be a little bit different. We just have a bottom, rest, bottom, rest, rest, rest. This is your 5-7 chord. Nice and short for that staccato. Okay, so that's our left hand. Kind of just practicing those. In the beginning, you don't need to worry about the dynamics, mainly just kind of getting your notes, being able to play these. Also getting that nice slur, those connection. Okay, and then what we're going to do is start adding layers to it. So we'll add the pedal now. If really kind of paying attention to where all these pedal marks are, it looks like these pedals are just kind of dispersed all through this. So really being kind of mindful for where those pedal marks are. We have pedal first, second measure, no pedal on the third measure, pedal on the fourth measure, pedal 5, 6, no pedal on 7, pedal 8, no pedal on 9, and then it keeps kind of just going here. So when you're playing these, start with the left hand, get the notes, then go over it again, kind of start to get some of the dynamics, making sure we kind of remember where all those crescendos and diminuendos are, and then we'll start adding some pedal. So let's go ahead and do some pedal. Play the note first, pedal second. Remembering when you get to that next measure note, you hear that D, you should hear just a brief little kind of blur, and then pedal up and down on the pedal really quick there. And all we're doing is kind of just swapping out the sound a little bit. So when you're doing the pedaling, making sure you start slow pedal, really be mindful of where those pedal marks are. I'm not too specific on kind of getting the exact pedals down, but if you're playing for a judge, or if you're playing for more of a critical listener that's really paying attention to where all these things are, that's really important to make sure if you're practicing in a competition or something, to really make sure you catch where exactly all of those are. Okay, and then we do the same thing on the second page. Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum, ba-dum. Rest. Noticing on this very last line, you have a pedal all the way through there, through all 3 measures. So we're going to hold that down all the way till the very last measure. Bottom, rest, bottom, rest, rest, rest. 5, 7. When you play that staccato, make sure that both the hand and the pedal comes up at the exact same time. We're getting a nice yep sound with that. So both pedal, foot up, and then come back down, chord, and the last one, low D. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go to, I think we got the left hand down, let's do right hand. So right hand is also going to be in D position. Let's do, these are 5, 3 there, 1, 2, bum, 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 bum. This is our C sharp there, rest. Rest. This one we're going to use kind of like an arpeggio here. So we're going to be stretching D, stretch to F, stretch to A, stretch to D on this one. So really making sure we kind of open that hand up. We kind of have a lot of notes here that are stretched kind of apart here. So this one, D, F, A, D again. Swap hands. Use your number 3 on that D now. We're in a new hand position. Okay, then we're going to swap out again. Use your number 3 on that A. Remember your B flat, E. Swap again. So that whole passage work from 9 to 16 is a lot of kind of hand swapping and kind of moving around. Make sure you kind of pay attention to where all those hand swaps are and kind of pay attention to the fingering. Swap. Swap again. Swapping again a little bit. Okay, so that's the first page. Let's go ahead and go to the next page. So this is where we have our repeated notes. We're going to be practicing those repeated patterns here. We're going to start on A. This is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Watching for the slurs there, connecting the A to the G, giving those nice last 2 notes there staccato. So starting with G again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bum, 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 crossing over. So both of those are also number 2s, crossing over. Crossing over. Okay. 25 here we have our arpeggios. Boom. So that's exactly what we had on the first page. What you can do when you're practicing during the week is just practice that section, then do like a kind of mental sort of copy and paste from the previous page. Those are exactly kind of the same sections, it looks like. And then on the very last line here, we're going to do our repeated notes. You're going to start with D. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, boom. So we're doing these nice little jumps there. Those are really great exercises as well. What you can do is kind of just practice going up the keyboard. 1. And then you can start doing little jumps. So those are, if you can't quite get that down on your first attempt, you can just kind of do those little technical exercises also will really help. So on 33 again. And I think that's it for the right hand. So let's go ahead and put both hands together. As soon as you kind of master the left hand, what I would recommend is at least doing a couple days of just the left hand, then transitioning a couple days of just the right hand, and then a couple days of hands together. So that will give you like a full week of kind of practicing this. So by the end of the week, you should start kind of putting hands together if possible, and then after that, you kind of start layering it, making sure that all the dynamics are working and pedals working and all that. So there's a lot of kind of stuff going on with this one. Okay, let's start from the beginning. This is where we do our dynamics, bringing it out a little bit, getting loud. Coming back soft again. Okay, that was the first page. Let's go ahead and go to the next page, starting with that nice soft piano. Okay, and then holding down the pedal all the way on this one. Oops, I even messed it up. And that's it. So on this one, making sure start left hand. Actually, the very first thing is kind of practicing those repeated notes. That's the main takeaway on this piece anyways. Then kind of start layering it left hand, add the dynamics, add the pedaling, do the right hand, kind of make sure that all the right hand, left hand sounds good, add them all together. And I think then towards the end of the week, you should be good with this one. And with that, I think I'm going to call it good.